Hey guys, this is Coach Edwards here with LacrosseGoalieTips.com and LacrosseGoalieUniversity.com. I was just shooting a video for Lacrosse Goalie University. If you're not a member of Lacrosse Goalie University, you're going to want to be. There's going to be a new link on the homepage of LacrosseGoalieTips.com where you can get our 3 free videos to get you up to speed, and then to invite you to join Lacrosse Goalie University. If you've been with me for any length of time, you know that I pride myself on giving kind of unbiased lacrosse goaltending advice. I'm not involved with any schools. I don't run any high-priced camps. And because of that, I'm able to kind of steer goalies clear of the good news and the bad news. Now, I'll tell you this. This video this week comes with, you're going to hear my blood pressure rise. You're going to hear the angst in my voice. And if you're listening to this on our podcast on iTunes and you can't see me right now, just know that I have grown a beard. And I also am showing an image right now that was sent to me by Rich Barnes, who's one of the best lacrosse photographers now in North America. He was also the head coach at Cortland when they won the title, the Division III title a few years back. He was also one of my earliest goalie coaches and inspired me. So I want to thank Rich for sending me this photo. And so once I got this photo from Rich, I instantly got angry. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to sit on this. I'm not going to get too uptight about this. I'm not going to get overworked on this. But then I got an email, Facebook message on our LacrosseGoalieTips.com page from Coach Ram Elwell, who I've been working with his daughter over the years. And he actually asked me this question, which was his goalies went off to a camp, came back having done this drill. Now, again, if you're on iTunes, you can't see this photo. What this is this is a goalie laying on the ground in their gear, face up, right? So their head is on the ground, looking face up, and there's a coach dropping lacrosse balls on their face mask. Okay, I need to breathe for a minute. So, the photo that Rich sent me was from the New York State girls lacrosse final, all right, in Cortland. And I have to tell you this really upsets me. This makes me angry because this is negligent coaching, all right? There's no question in this. This is basically coaches thinking that this is a good idea without really giving it any second thought as to what's happening, all right? First and foremost, why would somebody want to do this drill? Well, usually the way this starts is a goalie is blinking or they are flinching, all right, when a shot is coming at them. So the idea is, let's get the goalie used to having the ball make contact with their mask and so they won't blink. So basically what a goalie does is they sit there and they have their eyes like peeled open. All right, they may as well put toothpicks in them to keep their eyes from shutting when the ball comes. Here's the thing. This drill wasn't a semi-okay idea with a goalie who was standing. And in our video inside Lacrosse Goalie University about how to coach a young goalie, I talk about how to get a goalie accustomed to the ball making contact with their body. Because a lot of times we teach goalies just how to use their stick to catch a ball, but then a goalie gets hit one day with a ball in their chest or off their shoulder, off their thigh, or off the mask, and they're rattled, okay? So there is some benefit to getting a goalie used to contact with the ball. However, what people are forgetting here, and this is what makes me really angry, is that blinking is a natural reflex, okay? It is something that is not to be turned off, okay? The body, first of all, has to blink to keep the eyes moist. That's one thing. But secondly, it's a protection mechanism. When something basically comes in front of your vision, all right, your body is trained to blink. This has evolved over millions of years, okay? So trying to get that to turn off in the goalie is the wrong idea. Now, if you have a goalie standing up and you're tossing tennis balls at their mask or lacrosse balls at their mask, I don't see much of a problem with that. However, when you put a goalie flat and you say, okay, listen, I want you to keep your eyes open. Well, now you're basically making this goalie susceptible to having some sort of foreign debris, some foreign object fall off that ball into their eyes. So this is what pissed me off, pardon me. This is what upset me about seeing this photo taken before the girls' state final. How would you like it if your starting goalie gets a fleck of dirt in her eye, or worse, some fertilizer from the grass falls into her eye right before the game? Let's say she's got contact and she's only got one set of contacts, and that day she doesn't have her contact solution, right, to wash off that contact. This is just stupid. All right, you're basically putting your goalie in potential harm. You could literally ruin their eyesight. So stop. If you're doing this drill and you're watching this as a coach, I hope you leave me a comment below so we can continue this. If you got the guts to leave it, because I'm gonna rip you. This is stupid. All right, there's no question about it. All right, as a coach, you're being ignorant, for one, because you think you know, but you don't know. All right, it's just plain stupid. All right, there's no question. All right, so the other side of this, all right, and how this drill comes, right, why people think this is a good idea, is a lot of goalies are flinching. They're flinching, and that's different. A goalie who's flinching has fear of the ball. A goalie who is blinking for less than 1/100th of a second. All right, plenty of time. All right, for a goalie to see the ball, blink for a second, and then refocus. If you see photos of hockey goalies, right, or any goalie for that matter, if you see a photo, a lot of times you'll see a goalie who's actually, their eyes are shut for a second. That's okay, because they come back open. Now, a goalie who is flinching because they have fear of the ball. All right, now they have fear of the ball. Why? Because as a coach, you've let your goalies basically survive in a really bad environment. All right, if they are now flinching, all right, you have shooters too close to the cage shooting balls that they're not ready for to a goalie who's unprotected. That's the reality. All right, that's the reality. So how do you get rid of flinching? You don't get rid of flinching by having a goalie try to keep their eyes open. That's not the deal. All right, you basically have to back this up. You've got to get your goalie feeling safe in the cage, and you can do that by a couple ways. You can pad them up, all right? You can protect them better than they've ever been protected. You can back up the shooter, or you can leave the shooter where they are and add tennis balls, okay? Now, for those of you that have been following me for a bit, you know that my buddy Holden Catoni, who's at Johns Hopkins, he's the guy that told me that at Johns Hopkins, they run 3-on-2 drills with tennis balls, okay? 3-on-2 drills with tennis balls at a Division I men's lacrosse program. So if you're the coach who is at the junior high school program and is trying to tell me that tennis balls aren't good because our kids don't know how to catch a lacrosse ball, you're wasting my time, all right? And you're wasting your time, and worse, you're wasting your goalie's time, and you're actually retarding their development, okay? Plain and simple, all right? So plain and simple. Add tennis balls to the mix. Upwards of 3-on-2 drills, you can add it up further than that, all right? In my youth program, we use tennis balls all the time, all right? All the time. So, I'm venting, I'm ranting, but this makes me angry, people. This is what, when I was talking with Trevor Tierney, we talked about how, lacrosse is really still a sport where there's not millions of dollars being pumped in the sport of lacrosse. It's not like hockey. It's not like a sport like tennis or baseball or basketball or football, where there's money, so much money involved that now there's research into the science of things, right? Lacrosse is still a wealthy man's sport played in some niche markets, right? With people who can afford it. But because of that, in the lacrosse goalie position, there's very little time spent on kind of real world ideas taken from other sports. And that's where I come in. My Olympic sport background, my background playing a goalie in 3 other sports, okay? That's where I come at this with a very different perspective, all right? And this photo that Rich sent me, the question that Ram sent me, there are a million things that a goalie coach can be doing with their goalies than having them lay flat on the ground and begging them to keep their eyes open while they drop a lacrosse ball in their face. Cut it out. You're giving goalie coaches a bad name, so stop. And I don't care what your background is. I don't care what level you've played at. I don't care that you think a goalie should suck it up and keep their eyes open. You are wrong. So stop Stop now. Before we hear about some goalie who got their eyesight, the worst, they lost their eyesight because someone dropped fertilizer in their eye. Okay? So that's it for this week. I'm going to go work out or something to burn this energy off because this makes me so upset. Do me a favor. If you like this video, share it with somebody who needs to hear it, see it, talk about it. By all means, Facebook, like it, tweet it, Google Plus it, pin it, send it out on LinkedIn. I'd appreciate it. And leave me a comment below so we can talk about this. All right? And I'll see you next week with hopefully not so much rant to talk about. Cheers. I'm Coach Edwards.